The Lotus Eletre is here, and this is New Zealand's first drive in the electric hyper SUV. We take a deep dive into the tech and see what happens when Lotus build an SUV. Lotus, light, minimalistic, small, mostly mid-engine rear-wheel drive, everything this Eletre isn't. Then again, since 1948, Lotus have been all about things like performance, dynamics, innovation, cutting-edge design, breaking the mold, which is everything this Eletre is. Just take it in. Yes, there is that SUV silhouette, a touch of Urus even, but at the same time, it's very much its own design. This really could be a concept car, and it's so much more incredible in the flesh than I imagined. You know, this car isn't just striking, it's a smack in the face. It really is. I'm not sure where to start here. Do I show you the goodies on the inside first, or the aerodynamic mastery that's at play with this porous exterior? Let's start with the aero. Look at those active air intakes. They belong in an Imperial Star Cruiser. They open individually to optimize cooling. I am transfixed. And the entire surface is optimized. Sorry to use that word again. They call it porosity. Every part of the bodywork is designed to control airflow from over the bonnet, under the wheel arches, around the side and the rear. There's one thing we haven't mentioned, it's that this car is electric. It's sort of there in the name, I know, but it's also very important because it defines what this car is, the world's first electric hyper SUV. How hyper? Try the R version with 675 kilowatts. That's over 900 horsepower. That's 0 to 100 in 2.95 seconds in a 5-meter long SUV. Even this S version comes with over 600 horsepower. And thanks to a 112 kilowatt-hour battery, it has a WLTP range of up to 600 kilometers. Along with that, ultra-fast 350 kilowatt charging. What does that mean? Try 400 kilometers of range in 20 minutes. Now, of the 5-meter length of the Eletre, 3 of the meters are between the front and rear axles. The upside of that, well, all the room you get. Those front seats are right back, and here I am, shows how much leg room you get. This is the 5-seat version, by the way. There is a 4-seat version, which gives you 4 of these beautiful pews. There is one catch with the 4-seat version. It means you can't increase the boot space from 688 litres to 1,582 litres. Also, you get a tow rating, however many seats you've got, of up to 2.25 tonne. And speaking of lugging, thanks to the air springs as standard, it can lower to help loading. Now back to the interior. Nappa leather in this car, but you also get a refiber textile, which is woven from fashion industry offcuts. How sustainable. But the dominating feature when you're inside the Eletre is the dash, even the tops, which replicate the shape of those rear wings on the tailgate. And then you've got the screens. There's 4 altogether. 3 of them are touch screens, including the one in the rear and the passenger's display, which lets them change the song or the station that you're listening to. Speaking of the sound, on that note, pardon that, a Kev reference audio system, 23 speakers, 2,200 watts. I want to show you, but I think we're going to get out of the car so you can hear it. Double glazed, that's half volume. Wow. The design is truly beautiful, but what stands out is the quality. It isn't just a whole new level for Lotus, it's a whole new level full stop. The 15-inch main screen is OLED, how flash, and as you'd expect, it controls pretty much everything. Well, not everything. Just take the temperature control switches. When you turn them up, a red light comes on and the vent goes red as well. Go down and it goes blue. They really have not just thought of everything, they've prepared for everything. And to sum up the level of preparation, try LiDAR, which scans 200 meters around the car in every direction, generating a 3D map of the surroundings. It can detect obstacles even when there's no light. There's also forward-facing cameras, telephoto lenses. They can see up to 500 meters in front of the car. Now, this technically means the Eletre has level 4 autonomy, when that's finally allowed. Today though is the LiDAR's day off. I'm going to be doing the driving, so let's go. Well, this is the first time the Eletre has been on New Zealand roads. First impressions? Well, I dig the seatbelts to start with, but no, you don't giggle like you do it in the mirror. What you do is you say, wow. You say, wow, a lot. 600 plus horsepower, 710 Newton meters. I know it's a big car. The steering is beautifully weighted and the power is just, well, it's relentless. This instant roller coaster. It is epic. And to think there's a version with 900 plus horsepower. It's not chuckable, but it is refined. It's comfortable and confident. The speed is still there, plenty of it, but instead of being delivered by lightness, it's courtesy of a bucket load of power. The other thing too, we've chosen some pretty gnarly roads, turns wise and surface wise. So you've got a really good idea of how the Eletre is going to manage itself on New Zealand roads. The handling truly does defy the weight of this car. Let's be honest, it's an EV, around 2.5 tons. What you get thanks to twin chamber air suspension, you've got the four-wheel steering on this with the dynamic pack and the 48-volt roll bars. There's genuine agility, absolute composure. What you have to watch is how rapidly it picks up speed. Because there is no internal combustion noise, zero fuss at all, it is deceptively quick. Now, I've made a few comparisons with other cars, so I should really let you know the price. This Eletre S starts at $265,000 at Lotus Auckland. It also comes with a 5-year, 150,000k warranty. Even the battery has an 8-year guarantee. One thing that did catch my attention when I got in the Eletre the first time was the gear pedals. I thought, why? This model has no gears at all. But they're not for gears. Left hand is the amount of regen you want to option for. So on the motorway, you can dial it right back so you can coast. The right hand one is the drive mode. You put it in sport mode, like right now, you don't get any extra noise or anything, obviously, but what it does is tightens everything up. The throttle becomes more rapid and your seat bolsters actually squeeze you into the seat. It's just enough theatre to make it even more special. The tech's awesome. Some of it maybe is bordering on gimmicks. For example, the indicators. If you indicate left, the sound came from the left. Indicate right, it comes from the right. But drive it for long enough and you do forget about all those gimmicks. Instead, you focus on how good it is to drive. I've said before, it's composed and it's surprisingly agile. No, it doesn't live up to Colin Chapman's famous tenet, simplify and add lightness. There's none of that. It's not simple, it's not light, but it delivers the same driving magic. It's a legitimate Lotus. There is so much going on, but it doesn't feel remotely complicated. If you like, the sum of all those parts is one. The other thing I want you to listen to on this bumpy road, there are no rattles, no creaks. You see, that's the thing about an EV, there's nothing to hide the noise. Now, I know when they launched this car, they went for some very smooth roads in Norway. We're not on smooth roads now. There's your evidence. You know, I'm going to be honest, even after a couple of hours behind the wheel, this still feels quite surreal. I can't believe the Eletre's here. It still looks and feels like an auto show styling exercise. It really is that unique and that special. You know, from a driving point of view, you expect a lot from anything with the Lotus badge, and the Eletre hasn't just delivered, it's exceeded any of my expectations. I've got to say, if this is what they do with an SUV, I cannot wait for the Emaya sedan. You know, I've talked a lot about the brute force, but there's something else on offer here. It's the refinement, it's the luxury. There's almost a subtlety to how this car goes about its business, believe it or not, which in many ways means it's not Lotus. But I just want to ponder something. 20 years ago, the Cayenne was not Porsche. But if you are a Lotus purist and you're still not convinced, keep this in mind. This is a daring design. It is truly innovative, and they are things that Lotus has always stood for. So you know what? Don't waste time trying to reconcile with the badge or Lotus's history. This is Lotus's future, and it is an epically brilliant electric hyper SUV.